Hello, y'all. This is Pranav from Aquatic Express, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to treat ick and how to deal with it. And yeah, so ick is a really common disease you're going to run into in the fish hobby. It can occur in both freshwater and saltwater, but it is a very common disease. And I want to talk about what it is and how to treat it. So first, for starters, what is it? Ick is a parasitic infection. Ick is a parasite that hosts on your fish and is basically burrowing in their skin and is using them as a host and is hosting on them and basically damaging them. And it is basically damaging their skin. It is basically like biting their flesh off. It's just damaging their skill, damaging their gill tissue, and it ends up causing a whole lot of damage, especially if you treat it very late. So, in terms of symptoms, there are three main symptoms you want to check. Two main, in my opinion. The first one would be the most obvious, and that would be to see the white spots on your fish. Right, that is the most common. The second most obvious way would be to see them gasping at the surface, and you test the water and there's nothing wrong in your water, and your tank has good oxygenation levels and they're gasping. Well, it's because one of the first things the ick parasite will do is it will start to damage their gill tissue and cause them to start to gasp, and that will cause them a lot of issues. Another thing would be like flashing, and that'll just be there rubbing against like decorations and all that. Clamped fins would be another one. Yeah, those are some really important, and the two best ways would be to see the white spots or to see them gasping, especially if you have fish that are normally at the bottom, like your loaches or your cory cats, and they start to come up to the surface. That is telling you something is majorly wrong, and it could be one of the possibilities. So now that we've talked about what is it, how to notice it, what are the symptoms, let's talk about how to treat it. It can be treated in various ways, but in my opinion, the number one best way would be to have a good medication on hand. The reason I said the medication is the best is because most medications fish can tolerate. You just have to find a medication that will work for you. You follow the directions and make sure you dose for the whole period. One mistake people will do is they'll dose the medicine, and then they'll be like, and then they'll notice, oh, my fish doesn't have any. My fish, all the white spots are gone, and they'll stop medicating, and that is where they go wrong, because the medication can only affect the parasite when they're free swimming. So they could be free swimming in the water even if your fish have lost, and your fish could end up getting it again. Right. The next best way would be to increase the temperature. Now, this isn't always the best way, just because it depends on the fish you have. If you have fish like goldfish, if you have fish like goldfish or any other cold water fish, you don't want to increase that temperature too much, because that's going to stress them out even more. But if you have fish that can tolerate those warmer temperatures, like neon tetras or guppies or something of that sort, you can totally spike up that temperature. And the last final way you can treat it would be aquarium salt. Now, this is good. The problem with aquarium salt is it's not necessarily safe for some live aquarium plants. So if you have a planted tank, it may damage your plants, and it's not safe for a lot of fish. A lot of fish, especially like your scaleless fish, like loaches, they don't want, and they're very sensitive towards salt, so you probably don't want to be putting salt in there with them. But if you have fish that can easily tolerate a higher salt concentration, like guppies, or like a lot of your libraries, like guppies, mollies, or platies, or even goldfish, you could totally add some salt in there. That will totally help. Yeah, so those are the three best ways to treat ick. We talked about how to identify it, what are the symptoms. These are things you want to keep in mind, and you want to make sure you're treating for the full dosage period. So follow the manufacturer's instruction, make sure you're using a good quality medicine, and make sure you are not stressing your fish out during the treatment period, because that's going to make them even more likely to get stressed and get more infections. And another thing I want to talk about is ick can make your fish prone to other diseases like bacterial infections or fungal infections. So you just want to really make sure that you're keeping on top of your water quality. And that it is a really important thing to make sure that you are keeping up with your water quality, because keeping up with your water quality will help majorly and is a very important part of ensuring your fish stay happy and healthy. So make sure you're doing your maintenance, make sure you're keeping up with your water quality, make sure you're treating for the full dosage period. And one last thing I do want to mention is make sure you are taking care of this as soon as possible. Like, make sure you start treatment as ASAP as soon as you see symptoms, because the sooner you start treatment, the better, because it has a really high mortality rate. And if you wait till like last minute to treat, you could really end up with some high mortality rates in your aquarium, losing a lot of fish, especially your more sensitive fish. They could easily die off due to the ick. Trust me, I've had it happen, even though I treated as soon as I noticed it. But yes, you want to make sure you're treating as soon as you notice. And even then, sometimes fish don't make it. But if you treat on time, you do your job, your fish will generally make it. Alright guys, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!